Welkom bij een nieuwe aflevering van onze CEO Talks. Naast mij zit Pascal Jury, CEO van de beeldvormingsgroep Aqfa Gevaert. U kunt aan hem live vragen stellen de komende 3 kwartier. De beeldvormingsgroep uit Mortsel onderging de laatste jaren een complete transformatie. Enige tijd geleden ging het gros van de healthcare IT-tak de deur uit. En heel recent werd de offset-divisie verkocht, de traditionele printplaten. Heel wat om over te praten, dus welkom, Mr. Jury. We'll do the conversation in English, of course. You're French, but I guess you speak perfectly English.
I hope so, and thank you very much for having me, by the way.
Thank you. Maybe a first general question. After the sale of the offset division, you lose 1,700 members of your personnel. You lose 40% of your revenue. What is remaining of Aqfa Gevaert, and what is the strategy for these different divisions?
Well, as you know, Aqfa is in full transformation, and the story of the transformation of Aqfa is pretty simple. This is about the digitalization of the economy. We are switching from a fully analog world many years ago to what I guess is an hybrid world and soon to be dominated by digital. So today, transformation of the group is not yet fully complete. 50% of our business is digital native these days. And the move of offset is representative of the portfolio strategy that we want to pursue. First, we want to develop further in digital, and we want to make sure that we operate in growing markets. So this is what it's about. So post-offset, the group has really 2 parts in a way. The still important part related to the ancient core business of the company, the film business, mainly in healthcare for radiology, but also in industrial usages. This is operating in stable market, and it's generating a lot of the cash that we need to invest into the growth areas of the companies.
Is that only the traditional printing plates that we all know, the X-rays, or digital X-rays as well?
Alors, it's not anymore printing plates. It's hard copy films that are printed on demand through printers, but it does also include the direct radiography business, the digital one, this business. So 3 growth areas for the group going forward and already very nicely developed. First, healthcare IT, medical imaging IT, meaning we provide hospitals in the world the ability to manage all digital imaging coming from different image capture machines like PET scan, radiology, or even cardiology. So that's one. The second growth engine of the group is digital printing, and that's very illustrative of the transformation of the company. We sell offset, we invest in digital printing, and we made recently an acquisition to accelerate the growth. The main difference being that offset operates in a decreasing market, digital printing operates in a strong growth market. So we are positioning ourselves for growth. And last but not least, we have a couple of activities, and especially one that is a part of addressing the energy transition world need of the world, decarbonization of the world. And we are active in the green hydrogen segment. We are producing membranes which are critical to performance in establishing a green hydrogen capacity. So very exciting things, in fact.
One of the things for the future. One of our readers asked, what do you see as the main competitive advantages of Aqfa? In other words, he asks, why should I invest in your shares?
We are a technology company. We invest 7% of our sales in innovation or research and development by large. We are an imaging company, and we have been able to transfer the core competence of Aqfa of the analog world into the digital world. And our forte is to be able to produce solutions for our customers. In digital printing, we are not only an equipment maker, but we also provide the software to make it work and the inks, and we are managing the overall performance. And that's really what is in the DNA of Aqfa, being able to produce value-creating solutions for our customers through innovation. And we've been successful doing that for many, many years.
And in what you do, are you one of the world leaders, or what is your position in the world? in these remaining activities?
In our growth activities, in healthcare IT, we have a leadership position in Europe and still a challenger position in North America, which is, by the way, for me, the first priority is to grow in North America and especially in the US market. We have the right technology to do so. But in all the markets we operate, I would say we are in the top 5, including in the US. In digital printing, it's a little bit more complex as it's an embryonic market, and our role is not necessary to be the largest. We prefer to operate in added value segments where our technology can be leveraged. In fact, regarding green hydrogen, today in the membrane world of alkaline membranes, I mean, we are clearly the market leader by far, and I would even say today we have a significant lead over competition.
Okay, it's something the shareholders will like to hear. Another reader asks, what is Aqfa's future in Belgium? You have a large site in Mortsel. What is the future for that? And what are the biggest challenges to operate in Belgium?
Well, first, Belgium is our home country. Belgium, these are our roots as well. And today we have indeed the largest industrial footprint in Belgium, as you know, in Mortsel, near Antwerp. So we are very proud of that, and we have a very good, I would say, setup. 40% of the group's people are located in Belgium. So we are firmly rooted in Belgium, and that's part of also our DNA. Most of the businesses today are operated in Belgium. The only business that is not operated from Belgium is medical imaging IT, and the reason is very simple. 60% of the global market is, in fact, in the US, so you need to lead this business from the US, which is also where innovation takes place in IT. But the rest is being managed out of Belgium. Now, you know, operating in Belgium anyway is not a choice for us. This is where we are, and we need to make the conditions to do it competitively. So are we happy to be in Belgium? Yes. Does it mean that we're happy about everything that we see operating in Belgium or in Europe? Yeah, we have some challenges that we can probably discuss further.
Okay, we'll talk about that later on. Another reader asks, Aqfa was the last decade's story of continuous and expensive reorganizations. When will this stop? When will you stop reorganizing the company?
But it's not really reorganizing, but I would more say transforming and repositioning the company.
Is it a continuous process?
It's a continuous process anyway. I think I'm doing a lot right now. I'm changing a lot of things. I'm changing probably more in the past couple of years than was done in the past 10 years. The reason is being, you know, I'm touching the portfolio, I'm touching the operating model of the group, I'm looking at the culture, I'm bringing also key talents to the group. So it's a number of transformation. But first, transformation is an ongoing process, and the world is changing fast, and you need to be also very adaptable and flexible and quick on your feet to do that. This being said, the significant wave of transformation projects will continue for probably 2 to 3 years. After that, I expect a more stable view for the company. Is it expensive? Yes, it's expensive. But again, doing a pivot from the analog world to the digital world is quite complex, quite long, and you need also indeed to be able to transform the company in going very deep in your transformation, and it takes time.
Okay. Regarding the transformation, there is another question. Somebody asks, following the sale of a part of healthcare IT and the intended sale of the offset solutions,
yep,
what are the considerations per segment to keep them within the Aqfa group or set them independently apart? And maybe some shareholders and even analysts speculate that you may even sell one of the other remaining divisions. What is your view on that?
No, our first priority is to redeploy the group and to make sure we can reposition the group to growth markets and have a growing and profitable group going forward. So my first priority, that's really do that. So it means we have these 3 growth segments: digital printing, healthcare IT, the medical imaging part, and third, the green hydrogen membrane. The key priority is to grow organically or even potentially through bolt-on acquisitions like we did in digital printing. But that's really the roadmap for the next years.
Are there synergies between these three remaining divisions?
Yeah, there are, I would say, for everything that is film and digital printing and green hydrogen membrane, there are synergies, common backbone, common, I would say, competencies, and common use of resources. Healthcare IT is managed a bit differently since it's an IT business, while the other part of the group is more film and chemical. And here the synergy you have, of course, is the market. We're operating in healthcare market. We are addressing basically the same customers when we sell radiology products. So this is the synergy of the group.
Okay. Another reader asks, some analysts think that Aqfa can sell its remaining healthcare IT business. I think you answered that already.
Yes, as I said, the first priority is we have a huge growth opportunity and value opportunity, and this is really what it's all about. I'm just investing in a top US-based executive team in order to reinforce our ability to grow in the US. So this is the play. We want to grow it. We believe we can create a lot of value.
Okay. Regarding these three remaining divisions, in which do you see the most growth potential?
But the most growth potential...
and maybe the least potential as well.
No, all three, I would say it's not. I would not express in this way. I think that it's a different life cycle, so to speak. So green hydrogen, I see, without play on words, an explosive growth, if you allow me to say that. Why? Because it's just starting. The green hydrogen. For the time being, the installed capacity is negligible. But the ambition of Europe and other countries, by the way, not only Europe, are absolutely huge. If I take the current market of today, you're talking about an ambition in the next 10 years to multiply by 200. So it's extremely significant, and in terms of growth rate, it's unbeatable.
And the current energy crisis is helping the growth.
Absolutely. The current energy crisis is, of course, totally going in favor of hydrogen. So it's even more, a strategic concern of Europe to be self-sufficient in energy. So here, it's a fantastic opportunity, but we're starting from a very low base. It's almost a startup within the company. Healthcare IT has been around for some time, but there is today a renewal of the technology, meaning that if you look at the total market, you would say, yes, it's a growing market, but it's not a highly growing market. However, the portion that we are addressing, we come with a concept that is slightly different from what is existing today in the market. This portion is growing double digit, and there is indeed a good opportunity for us to grow, but we're starting from an established base. And third, digital printing, it's a bit in between. You have segments of the digital printing market that are growing 5% per year, but we are directing ourselves also to introduce digital printing in new segments, and here you're talking about growth up to 20-25% per year. So very, very different life cycle. I have an internal startup, I have a very attractive healthcare-based growth, and I have a market-making growth of digital printing. Three different cases.
Okay. Someone is asking, you were talking about the energy prices. To what degree do the higher energy prices impact the results of Aqfa? And a second question, more elaborate, is there still a future for the industry in Europe? Or would you rather invest, if you had a choice, to invest out of Europe at this moment?
Mm-hmm. No, very good questions. First, energy prices is impacting us, like everyone. However, not yet to the full extent, meaning that we have long-term contracts still in place that guarantee us for a period of time, I would say, relatively stable prices of energy, at least in Belgium.
And for how long is that?
It depends, but it's a year to 2 years, depending on the energy source. So we still have a bit of time in front of us. However, indeed, I think energy is a strategic challenge for Europe. Even for us, we are not a highly energy-intensive industry, but even not being a pure basic chemical player or a glass maker, we are still impacted by high energy prices. So it's an issue for Europe because it means indeed you see the rapid disappearance of a lot of energy intensive industries in Europe. We are not part of that, but energy is also important for us. And what worries me is I'm competing with US-based competitor having access to cheaper energy and Asian-based competitors also having access to better energy sources. So it creates for me a competitive disadvantage going forward. Now to the question on Europe, I think you can extend it very, 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 very soon. You've seen today a lot of industries that have shut down or reduced capacity already in Europe due to the energy prices, and this is replaced with imports. So yes, it's a significant issue for the European industrial footprint going forward. And I know for a fact that today already the industrial consumption of gas in Europe has been decreased by double digits due to this phenomenon. Meaning it's a threat for the European industry. For us in Akbar,
let's hope that prices will start decreasing.
Yeah, but I cannot just rely on that. I need also to make the necessary steps to try and mitigate the energy price increase. The good news is by doing that, we will also certainly reduce our CO2 footprint, which is anyway our intent. So that's going to accelerate this drive, this move to, I would say, cleaner energy. We are still using gas today in Belgium, but we are going to more and more be using cleaner sources of energy, and that was our intent anyway. So it's accelerating the trend, but I want to do it without jeopardizing my competitiveness. That's the name of the game.
Okay, let's hope so. Another reader asks, you were talking about the US just a moment ago.
Yes.
What is the impact of the higher dollar on the results? Because for some readers it's not clear. Are you profiting from a strong dollar, or is it the reverse?
Well, actually, I would say it's neutral plus for us. We are a global company. So we have a global footprint. We have plants in all continents. So we sell also globally. So overall, and we buy a lot of raw materials, energy, raw materials, all the reference prices are dollar prices as well. So when I look at the total picture for the group, slightly positive. So not a first factor for us, given our global presence.
Okay, talking about the prices of aluminium and silver, Aqfa was once a playing ball of these prices on the market. To what degree do they affect the results? Is it less than it used to be?
The short answer is yes, and especially, aluminium is related to offset. And offset, as you know, will leave the portfolio of Aqfa, so it's not an issue anymore. And silver today is still being used in our film business. It's probably a lot less sensitive than we used to be on the silver price, but we still are to some degree. Having said that, in probably 60% of the case, we have contracts with silver clause indexation. However, aluminium prices were at an all-time high, but we could also increase prices accordingly. So it will not drive the performance of the business, I would say. What you need to do is to be able to reflect this higher input cost into your price.
Is that an easy process? Can you just ask higher prices to your customers?
It's never an easy process, as you know. However, in most of what we do, and even in offset today, what we do is representing a very small part of the overall cost for our customers. And believe me, they are confronted with a lot more serious cost increase like energy, like paper and whatnot. So the short answer, yes, we can do it by and large. we can do it. But we do it respectfully, we do it respecting our contracts and maintaining, of course, a good relationship with our customers.
It's not hurting the profit margins structurally?
Actually, no. It's rather improving your margins if you do it well. And that's what we have demonstrated, at least with Offset.
Okay. There's a question just coming in. Do you use silver swaps and other hedging techniques?
We do not. To make a long story short, we do not speculate on the market. Okay, we don't take positions on the market. We are an industrial. We use silver industrially, so we buy it, in a very simple way. You don't
hedge, okay.
In a very simple way.
Okay. Another question is, what is the impact of the higher interest rates, also taking into account the pension obligations that Aqfa has?
Well, in fact, the higher interest rates is decreasing mechanically our liabilities. However, these are liabilities, but in terms of cash impact for the group, it does not change, the amount of money that we pay to our pensioners. This is the case. And I would argue that, on the other hand, having higher interest rates means also the economy does a little bit less well. So it's always a balanced picture. But indeed, it does decrease our liabilities, and we're happy. And as we have no debt, we are not suffering from the rise of interest rates in this area as well.
Okay, it used to be different a couple of years ago, but now you're financially healthy.
I think the liabilities for pension have been more than halved in a couple of years. We were at 1.1 billion. We are now at round about 500 million.
Okay. Another question that's coming in. Somebody is saying you have a somewhat older demographic picture. If you look at your employees, somewhat older employees than other companies in the sector, is this a disadvantage? Or now that we are in an era of inflation, and will that be a handicap if you deal with competitors that are located in other countries without an automatic indexation for your costs and your profit margins?
Well, there are different questions here. On the demographics and the company, indeed, the challenge for us is more to be able to replace all the competencies that will leave in the next years. So we will need a lot of hiring in order to make sure that we are able to effectively transition from this situation. So the first area. Very important for us to be able to attract, I would say, talents to Aqfa. And that's what
I suppose they're mostly
doing.
Technical profiles?
Not only technical profiles, of course technical profiles, but not only. We need also more generalist profile. We need marketing profiles. It's wider than just technical.
No, those people easy to find?
Right now, you know that there is a kind of a war on talent in the market. So we have a tense situation. But I'm happy to say that for the time being, we've been able to attract talents in the company. Now, to your point regarding indexation, Belgium stands out a bit. In the world, I would say, and even in Europe. We are the only one having such an automatic indexation system.
But you're increasing salaries elsewhere as well, I guess.
Yes, but it's not the same timing. It's less automatic, and we'll see probably the impact of inflation more in 23 that we've seen in 22. Where typically in other countries you have yearly discussions on salaries. So indeed the automatic indexation is placing us indeed in a competitive disadvantage in Belgium. We've got to live with that. That's for sure.
Okay. Another reader asks, what about your cash position? He asks himself, why are you leaking so much cash?
Well, I think the reader references to our end of June situation. We have a significant working capital, meaning we need to have we have a need for inventory. We have very long supply chain in the areas we operate.
The working capital went up seriously.
It's really the working capital, meaning it's not leaking cash. It's going to come back. A lot of it will come back during the second half. Will come back to our bank. No issue there. But there is a seasonality. Typically, we build inventory until summer, and we use inventory, in the second part of the year. Then you had the impact of the inflation. Indeed, the same inventory was costing more and was valued more in our account. But overall, we're gonna get it back largely in the second part of the year.
So negative cash flow won't be a problem.
We'll still be in a negative cash flow this year because we have made an acquisition, we have made a share buyback, and we also have significant transformation programs that are costing money. But this is all being mastered. And you shouldn't look at the end of June situation as a permanent situation.
Okay. Somebody heard, apparently, rumors that the transfer of IT activities to Atos, it's a French IT company, is not running smoothly. Why did you decide to separate such a crucial activity to an external party? Maybe you can elaborate on the decision first.
No, absolutely.
To explain the situation.
First, to explain the situation, we were doing everything in-house. At Aqfa, okay, meaning we have today our own servers and a backup server room and so on and so on. So we were doing everything by ourselves. We believe that in the world we live in, we need a more flexible model. And what we are doing, we have not transferred our activities to Atos. We have externalized part of the activities to Atos.
So you keep the crucial parts in-house.
We are managing still our own IT, okay? And Atos is a partner and a provider for us in a number of areas, but we remain in full control of what we are doing with our IT. So it's not like we are transferring IT activities. When you do that in such a complex environment, because we operate in more than 50 countries, so it's quite a difficult puzzle with different activities. It's clear that these are difficult projects, and what is being referred to, I guess, is we have a few glitches in the handover, in the transition period. We are working very diligently in order to solve the issues. This is a bit irritating, but in any way, no impact on our business, which is more important. So this is a normal difficulties of getting started, but it soon will improve a lot.
Okay, that's clear. Somebody's asking, you already talked a bit about it. Can we get a clear overview of the pension liabilities of the group?
Well, as I said, 2 years ago, we used to have liabilities of 1.1 billion euros. And we have 4 countries in which we have actually significant pension liabilities. We have done a series of actions, and today we are back to about 500
Which countries are that?
The US, the UK, Belgium, and Germany. And we have, these are the 4 countries where we have the really most of these liabilities. Today we are about 500 million, so more than half of what we were before, and especially the amount of cash that we need to pay every year has been reduced also very significantly. So today what's left actually is an unfunded obligation in Germany, whereby actually we pay directly a number of pensionees every year. That's what is left in terms of significant pension liabilities.
Okay. Some questions about the products, and most of the questions involve the hydrogen technology.
Fascinating.
Absolutely, especially in light of the energy crisis at this moment. When do you expect a breakthrough in your hydrogen technology, somebody asks?
If a breakthrough means that it becomes a significant business, I think you are about 3 years out for this. We are seeing today a very rapid growth, but from a very, very slow base. But 2 years ago, we had a handful of customers. Today, we have 50 customers. The sales figure that we expect for 22 is 3 times what we did in 21. Next year, it's going to be maybe 3-4 times more. So that's what you're talking about. So it's a rapid ramp up. Now, breakthrough means when it starts being material for the company. And I would say you're talking 25, 26. But what we are doing is actually we are preparing the future. We are looking at investing in a capacity in Mortsel. So you see, industry is still attractive in Belgium. Where we will do it on our site.
It's a new small factory within the larger factory.
Not so small actually, but it's a factory within the factory. We have a lot of different units, and indeed we are busy preparing an investment to face the ramp up of the hydrogen business.
Okay. Somebody asked, can you exactly explain what you do?
It is, what we do. Well, I don't want to be too technical, but how do you make hydrogen? You take electricity and you run it through water. It's called water electrolysis. And what you try to do, water is H2O, and you try to separate, you create hydrogen and oxygen. But the two gases do not mix, actually. So what we provide is what is called a separation membrane that actually separates.
It's called
effectively.
Zirfon, I guess?
Zirfon is a brand name. This is a brand name, Zirfon, and it separates the two gases. But it not only does this, but it's also strongly influencing the performance, actually, of the production of hydrogen, and especially the yield, meaning how much electricity is going to be effectively turned into hydrogen. So that's clearly where we have also a very strong added value. So it's a small part within the overall install of an hydrogen factory, but it's a critical to performance part.
Okay. Somebody's asking, do you have enough financial resources to expand this product?
Oh, yes, we do. Actually, the money, the investment that we need to do is mostly today an industrial investment, and you're talking a few tens of millions of euros. And yes, we have the resources to do it, yes.
Okay. A question coming in regarding sustainability. How is Aqfa progressing to meet the United Nations 2030 sustainability targets?
Well, we have formalized today our sustainability policy. We have not yet fully made it public. We will, but clearly we are working on 5 specific areas. The first one is employee well-being and especially safety, where we want to reduce the number of safety incidents within our operation. Then we are working on diversity, equality, and inclusion, and especially we want to increase gender diversity everywhere, and specifically also at management level in the company. Third,
is Aqfa still a male company? Or
we have 23% women in our activities. Remember, we are an industrial company, and it's more challenging also to have more women in plants. I wish we could, but it's not always that easy. So 23, and today we are hiring at the rate of our new hirings are at the rate of more than 30%. So we are making progress in getting there, but we are not there yet. It's still a journey. CO2 footprint. Basically, we want to commit. We are committing to follow the Paris Agreement, and indeed we are taking every step possible to reduce our footprint. We now have PV cells in the roofs in Mortsel, which is new. As I told you, the energy crisis will lead us to accelerate the transition to non-CO2 source of energy.
Using more hydrogen, probably.
Hydrogen, I'm not sure, but electricity for sure. That's gonna be part of the mix. We are also looking at the sustainability of our product portfolio. That's a clear area where we want to pursue, and also we are being assessed right now by a third party in order to have a rating. So yes, we have a sustainability in place. I think it's extremely important for us, and I'm pleased with the progress we are making, but we have yet to make it more public, I would say.
Okay, another question regarding something completely else. One of your growth engines is the Inkjet business.
Yes.
Do you have any comments on the profitability of that business? Because the reader says that questions are raising about the profitability even after more than 10 years that you're active in this domain?
That's a business in which we are still today significantly investing. That's a business indeed that is still in investment phase. I was talking to you about the different maturity stage of our growth engines. We are getting there. We are. I would say for me, it's not an issue, the profitability of the inkjet market. We are taking a lot of steps to invest a lot more in this area to get to critical mass and to address new market segments. So yes, it takes time because it's a significant investment still today in R&D and also I would say in all the infrastructure you need to support the business. But I'm absolutely not concerned about the profitability of this business. It is going to become one of the best earner in the company in the next years.
Okay, it's still a growth engine. Nice to hear.
Yeah.
Another question somebody's asking, it's regarding the sale of the offset printing business to Aurelius.
Yes.
How far in the future is the commitment of the Aurelius Group reaching for the offset printing business? The reader asks himself, there must be plenty of Chinese companies that would love to acquire this business from Aurelius within a couple of years.
Well, first, I'm not going to speak on behalf of Aurelius, so I cannot comment on what they are going to do with the business.
But it's an investment group.
It's a portfolio. It's an investment group. Indeed, they have a portfolio of companies, and indeed, these companies tend to hold their portfolio companies for a given number of years. But I'm gonna stop here. I cannot comment on their intent. What I can tell you is, indeed, you have Chinese companies operating in the offset business, but not at all with the same positioning. And they have a positioning very different from the positioning of the Aqfa business. And on top of that, I would also make the comment that China has changed a bit behavior these past years, and I see a lot less of acquisitions by Chinese companies in the world. And I think it has become a bit more difficult, and especially right now that China is a bit shut down with the COVID-19. It's not really accessible to Westerners, and so it's not easy today to look at such projects.
Okay, a question just popping up: how strong is Aqfa's position in China?
How strong? It's every time we operate in China, I believe we have a strong position in all our businesses. So if I look at business by business, when we want to operate in China, which is not the case for every business, we have a significant market share.
Yeah. And do you see the situation deteriorating at this moment because of the new COVID restrictions?
What we are seeing is, yes, of course, the Chinese economy has slowed down, and indeed it started already during the second quarter of this year due to the COVID lockdowns. I mean, that's pretty clear that it has a strong impact on the Chinese economy if you cannot operate plants and if people are not free to go and go to the hospital and so on. So yes, it has a tremendous impact, and as we are in China, yes, we are seeing it very clearly.
Okay, from China back to Mortsel near Antwerp. Someone is asking, what about the physical space you have in Mortsel? You used to have more than 10,000 employees, now they're about, he's asking how much in Mortsel, and are the premises getting too large for Aqfa?
We have still about 3,000 employees in Mortsel, so it's still a sizable number, I believe. Yes, we do have, I would call it's complex because it's a plant, it's a research center, it's headquarters. We have also demo rooms for our solutions, so it's quite a complex campus, if you want.
You're not going to transform it into apartments.
Not sure this is the plan. No, we still need the land and the occupation. But indeed, when we look at Mortsel, we need also to look at the future of the site. And indeed, today the footprint that we have on Mortsel, and I'm not talking the industrial part, but more the administrative part, can probably be optimized for sure. But this is a secondary subject. My first focus is really to transform the business.
Okay, that's clear. Somebody's asking, will there be any spin-offs with all the engineering talent you have in the group?
Oh, well, no, I'm not planning any spin-off, and the very talented engineers are fully employed to industrialize our green hydrogen membrane and do a lot of things for the group.
Okay.
So I'm not planning to do that, no.
Let's go to the share price of Aqfa. It has been under strong pressure the last couple of weeks, such as the market as a whole, of course. What is your personal opinion about the current share price, if you have one?
No, I don't have an opinion on the share price. I mean, the market is putting a price on the share, and that's it. I don't have an opinion about it. My focus is really to reposition the group, on attractive markets and to make sure that we can have a sustainable and profitable business model. This is really what drives me. We are still in a bit of a transition, but the end game is very clear for me. I know where we need to go, and that's what I'm focusing on. So, do I look at the share price? Yes, but as you know, the share price will depend on the market environment. They will depend on the reading the market has on the key trends impacting you. I'm looking at it and I'm sensitive to delivering short-term results, but really my goal is is a midterm goal to I would say position the group in a much better place compared to where we have now.
You're looking at it daily or not?
I always, I'm a good reader of the Tate, so I'm looking at it.
Nice to hear that.
A bit, but no, it does not obsess me, and I don't look at it daily.
Okay. What about an eventual dividend? It's long ago that Akfa paid a dividend. Will there be a dividend again in the medium term?
Again, things need to be in order. Okay, we indeed, you're right. We have not paid a dividend for some time, but I did a share buyback that ended, by the way, in June of this year, which was the first time that shareholders had a form of reward in many years. First things first. As I said, I want to focus on the future of the group, to set it on a good course, and whenever we'll be out of this transformation phase, of course, we will consider getting back to a dividend policy. But it's a bit too soon now.
Because somebody is also asking what are the priorities for your cash position at this moment?
Very simple. I want to invest the cash in making Aqfa a sustainable, profitable, growing company. So that's my priority, reinvesting the cash in the business.
And that should be positive for the share price as well, in the long term, of course.
That's exactly right. And I think it's a good investment.
Okay. Another question about the future of the film business. How do you see that?
Film business is a mature business. You've got two main usage of the film today. Still, it's being used in healthcare and radiology to print images, even if they are captured digitally. And that's quite important in a number of countries where people are still responsible for their own medical records. So it's not going away for the time being. It's stable. At some stage, it might disappear, over time. And the industrial uses of film, mainly in what we call non-destructive testing, basically it's radiology for planes, for pipelines and whatnot. That's also very important. And that's also a pretty stable market. So I would say for these markets are mature, but I don't see any quick or fast disappearance of film.
Okay. Another question on the hydrogen membranes. Somebody's asking, how will you predict your current market position? Because there are cheaper foreign technologies who are also approaching this market. Is that so?
It's not about cheap. It's about value. The cost of the membrane, if you gain 1% productivity, meaning you do more hydrogen from the same electricity, it's worth 100 times more, than the price of the membrane we're selling, so to speak. So no, I'm not concerned, about the low end of the market. because I believe that what we do provide is a very safe and performing product. And I don't think anyone is going to cut corners on safety, and I think the productivity is more important than the price at which you buy your membrane. So I'm quite optimistic in that. And actually, I see the reverse today. Actually, we are seeing a lot of interest right now from China, Chinese players coming to our membrane because they understand the value that we can provide. So this is a reverse, actually.
Okay.
That we see.
Maybe a final question on your own position at Aqfa. Do you see yourself remaining for at least a couple of years? And how do you feel living in Belgium? Someone's asking.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, first, I've been in Akfa 2 years and a half. We are still in the middle of the transformation, and I'd like to see it through. Before Akfa, I've stayed in the same company for more than 30 years. I think it tells you something about me. I'm committed. I'm committed to companies when I work for a company, and I believe that, I want to see through the potential of Akfa. And I've been living in Belgium, well, actually close to 10 years. So I think it's a self-explanatory answer. If I was not happy in Belgium,
you would have moved already.
Probably. So I'm quite happy. I think there is even a saying, happy as French in Belgium, because the French people are very happy, I guess, in Belgium. At least it's my case. I enjoy Belgium.
Okay, nice to hear that. Thank you, Pascal Jury, for answering all these questions from our readers. And it was very nice to have you here.
Thank you, Serge.
En jullie ook bedankt voor het kijken naar onze CEO Talks. Volgende maand zijn we er opnieuw met een andere CEO. Bedankt voor jullie vele vragen die we helaas onmogelijk konden beantwoorden. En ik hoop jullie volgende keer terug te zien.